Today, I have an absolute doozy for you. Now, most of the videos that I feature here on the channel have originated from conversations that I will have in day-to-day life, talking about songs, listening to a song, remembering some anecdotes about it, and this is no different than that. This is actually one of my favorite stories of all time because of how just absurd it is. A lot of people know the beginning, not a lot of people know the middle, and the end? Uh-oh. Today we're talking about one of the most popular and recognizable songs in the pop culture of music, in Sweet Home Alabama. Now, this is a song whose origins are fairly well known, as Sweet Home Alabama is what you would call a diss track, and I don't like putting that up on the board, but it is, so we're putting it up on the board. And today, to get the real full context here, we're actually going to start with talking about Neil Young. But at this point in the story, Neil is fresh into his solo career after having left Buffalo Springfield and a couple other extremely well-known group efforts, and on two of his earliest records, he released songs quite obviously attacking, or at the very least questioning, the ideals of the South and Southern American life. One of these songs is a very rough one, and one that definitely showcased Neil's ability to branch out musically, and that is Southern Man. In this song, Neil leads a very passionate and almost visceral attack on the stereotypical Southern lifestyle and Southern culture. Southern man, better keep your head, don't forget what your good book said. Southern change gonna come at last, now your crosses are burning fast. But Neil wasn't going to be slowing down anytime soon, because on the record that followed this, Harvest, Neil released an equally visceral, passionate attack in the song Alabama. Oh, Alabama, the devil fools with the best laid plan. Swing low, Alabama. Now, with this context, it's very easy to see that Sweet Home Alabama is a direct response to these songs from Neil. I mean, not only does the band use the song in an attempt to reclaim the name of the aforementioned land, but they also directly name-drop Neil in the song. Well, I hope Neil Young will remember, a Southern man don't need him around anyhow. And just like that, the fight began. And if this were happening today, it would be very easy to expect both groups to be sending the tracks back and forth to each other, attacking each other, see who manages to outwit the other the most, and then eventually people will forget about the incident, or maybe they would just end up shooting each other. But this did not happen today, and that actually isn't what happened whatsoever with this song. Now, Neil didn't respond with another song. Rather, he actually later stated in his own book that the criticism that he received was deserved. Neil said that his lyrics on Alabama in particular were condescending and accusatory. Those are his own words. In the years that followed the release of Sweet Home Alabama, Neil was actually seen performing the song live in several concerts, and Ronnie Van Zant, the lead vocalist for Lynyrd Skynyrd, was often seen performing while wearing a Neil Young shirt. Now, that might very well seem like a very wholesome and a very civil way to lock this song into cultural relevance, cultural significance, and it's just end there. But that actually isn't where it ends at all. And I'm afraid to tell you that a lot of what follows is actually quite tragic, because infamously Ronnie Van Zant died in a plane crash in October of 1977. Mr. Van Zant had often said that he didn't expect to make it to 30 years old, and sure enough, he died a little less than 2 months before his 30th birthday. Now, such a catastrophic and monumental event might lead you to think that the next aspect of this story would be consolidation with the fact that Ronnie Van Zant, one of the most culturally relevant artists of his time, had passed away. But this is the part in the story in which my boy Warren Zevon comes in. In 1980, Warren Zevon released his record Bad Luck Streak in Dancing School, and on that album we have the track Play It All Night Long. Now, unfortunately for the world, Warren Zevon is pretty far from a household name. Most only know him from Werewolves of London. But on this album, Warren produced one of the most intensely biting and satirical looks at Southern life. This song shares many of the attributes from Young's earlier solo work that drew the attention from Lynyrd Skynyrd, in that it paints a very satirical look at Southern life. However, this time, Warren actually used the song as a direct response to the band. Sweet Home Alabama, play that dead band song. Turn those speakers up full blast. Play it all night long. I think I could make a pretty reasonable argument that this is very much intended as a satirical song, and not a song whose full intent is to attack the band. I think that would be pretty absurd to say. But that is almost irrelevant, because when taken at face value, and even when looking into the song, Play It All Night Long is a criticism of the South, a very aggressive and grimy look at the stereotypical Southern lifestyle, and maybe not the most respectable move for the young man to make. I mean, especially considering that this album was released on Ronnie Van Zant's birthday, January 15th, 1980. Now, unfortunately, we do not get to see Mr. Zevon becoming good friends with the rest of the band. That is not how the story ends. But we do get to end the story on a slightly happier note. We get one last look at pure, blissful ignorance to close this chapter. Because, and here we go, everyone, I want you to say it with me because we love this. We get everyone's favorite musical legend, Michigan's own Kid Rock. Again, another person with a January birthday. We got Warren, we got Ronnie, and we got Mr. Rock. I get All Summer Long, quite obviously named after a hit Beach Boys album, was released by Kid Rock in 2008. Now, I don't think that this song is meant to be looked at critically, so I'm not going to do that. But when you listen to the song, you might reasonably think that the song samples Sweet Home Alabama. But I'm here to set the record straight. No, it doesn't sample Sweet Home Alabama. It samples Werewolves of London, bringing everything full circle. That's right, we have a song whose writing credits include Kid Rock, Warren Zevon, and Ronnie Van Zant. This creates one of the most absurd crossover conclusions to a saga of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said in the beginning of the video, this is one of my favorite stories in the continuum of the popular music culture and lore. That's right, I said the lore word right there. I love how goofy, I love how tragic, and I love how remarkable it is. It's got everything you ever want in a story right here. Check out other videos on the channel if you enjoyed this one. Subscribe to the channel if you so please, and Listen to some Warren Zevon. If you've taken anything from this video, it's to listen to Warren Zevon. Listen to Mr. Bad Example. I like that album.